Hi, I am Charlie Whitaker, and the new student dialogue I attended had a lot to do with disability and how sometimes it can actually not have a negative role, but it can even sometimes even have a positive role. And I first went in, I wasn't totally sure what to expect, honestly. I um, I didn't know much about the topic, and we went in first, and the first thing we did was we went up. We all just kind of introduced ourselves. Each person went up. They said their name, where they were from, and something interesting about themselves. And if you had that in common, the interesting thing they said about themselves, you went up and you said something interesting about yourself. And someone who had that in common with you would stand up. And eventually, we got the whole room standing up. And that was really interesting at first because that really showed us how we were all just kind of connected. We all had something in common with someone else. And this was a room full of people who maybe besides one person, I hadn't met any of them before, and so it was really cool for me, at least that just one part, showing me that I could enter a room of totally random people, and I would have something in common with all of them, and so I feel like that's one really good basis to have a dialogue with people is that you need to have something in common with them, and that I definitely did with these people, and after we did that, we kind of discussed, kind of like identified ourselves basically. He gave us a sheet where we would write down things about ourselves, our race, gender, age, ethnicity, social class, and any sort of disabilities we have, and we would rank how high each one of those different aspects of us kind of defined us, and like which one of those we felt like we were like was most unique to us, and a lot of us said that a lot of people didn't have disabilities. I couldn't really think of a disability. The only thing I could think of for myself was that in my right ear, I actually have really bad hearing. I only have about 25% hearing, and so I wrote that down for myself. And in terms of ranking, it was up there, but it wasn't the most important thing to me. There were other things that were more important in defining me. So that was kind of interesting how our disabilities didn't define us. They were just kind of something that a new aspect to us that kind of made us unique, but it didn't have to necessarily define us or even hold us back. And we discussed that for a while. And one of the things that was really good about this discussion was that it was a discussion. It wasn't a debate or an argument. It was just 30 or so peers discussing things together, having a dialogue together, rather than arguing or getting angry with each other. Even though there were a lot of people who had very different and opposing ideas, and I thought that was great how we were able to do that without getting angry or getting any or being judgmental or anything like that. And then after we did that, we watched a fairly long video, about 10 minutes, about this man who was almost 30 years old, but who had a disease that restrained him from moving or even growing. He couldn't even talk. He had to just kind of control a computer using his thumb, which he could barely move, and he would have to talk through the computer and everything. But we were able to see how he lived for considering his disease, what we would consider probably a fairly normal life. He had a girlfriend, and he had a family. He had friends, and he watched movies, and he was a person just like all of us. But on the outside, we just weren't able to see that because we were just so overtaken by the fact that he's in this bed all the time, not able to move, not able to speak, and I thought that was really interesting how this guy has this disease that would cause probably any one of us to just give up on everything. We wouldn't want to bother finding a girlfriend. We wouldn't want to bother finding a career or going to school or anything. But this guy just made the best out of his situation. He he went out there and met people, even though it was really hard to get to know them. And I think that was just really eye opening that disabilities don't have to define you or hold you back. That even with his girlfriend, for example, they met online, and he got to know her and spoke with her a lot before she even found out that he had this disease. And at that point, it didn't matter because she had already gotten to know him as a person rather than know him just for his disease. And I thought that was really interesting. So overall, with this dialogue, I thought it was a huge success. I thought that it was great getting to have this dialogue with students who I didn't know, and not only get to know some people here that I didn't know before, but also get a chance to just understand things from a different perspective, and get a chance to realize that disabilities don't always have to define you. Thank you.